Good morning, Twin Cities. Welcome to Reckoning with Real Estate, a show about the American dream and building a better real estate company. I'm Megan Howard with the Real Estate Collaborative, and here with me today is our special guest, Liz Novotny, a real estate agent with Hamm Real Estate Company. Hi, Liz.
Hello, Megan.
Thank you for coming again.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here.
Yes. And for those who maybe missed last week's episode, Liz joined us to talk about short sales, which I found fascinating. I learned a lot. And so if anybody is interested in hearing more, you can always go on to our website or AM 950s to watch that episode. And I'm just going to give a quick reminder to folks of how to find us. We are at therecolab.com. That is TheRecollab.com. And so Liz, I know we got to kind of quote meet you last week, but maybe for those who missed that episode, can you remind us of who you are and what's going on in your life? Because that's what we're really going to be talking about today.
Okay, so last week's episode, we talked about short sale and the foreclosure process and when it's good to reach out to somebody, who to reach out to, the different steps. If you're unable to make your payments on your mortgage, what to do next. It is better to get information than bury your head in the sand, and feel free to reach out. I'm happy to answer any calls of folks that just want to know how this works.
Yes. Awesome. And so you did this, you really focused on short sales in your previous real estate life. And now, that was 2007. Yeah. And now here we are in 2026. And what's going on in your life?
So 2007, I did that, 4 years of negotiating short sales, helping folks. Service.
Yep.
Service is my love language, Megan.
Right. Oh, yeah. That
You know
makes
what
sense.
comes naturally with service? Public office.
Yes.
Megan, I'm running for city council in Fridley, Ward 2 this year.
We're so excited. And that's what we're going to talk about, civic engagement on this episode. We're going to talk about, why you've decided to run, where you put your energy in the community. So I can speak to, so Liz and I worked together for, I don't even know how long, at a different brokerage than the ones that we are at now. But I know that community engagement is something very important to both Liz and I. So let's talk a little bit about before you've decided to run for city council, what are other ways that you were engaged in the community? I know you're a member of many different groups. So yeah, if you can talk a little bit about that.
My first round of delving into getting involved in community was being on the different neighborhood boards for the city of Minneapolis.
Cool.
I lived in 2 different neighborhoods, Northeast Minneapolis, and the first one I was with Wyndham Park Citizens in Action, and we lived in Wyndham Park. I saw a flyer come through, about those neighborhood meetings, and an election was coming up, and you had to go to a meeting first before you could be elected. So I went to a meeting specifically because there was a conversation about bringing a liquor store in our neighborhood and whether or not we were going to say yes or no to that.
Okay.
And I wanted to vote in favor of it. I knew who the owners were going to be. I knew what type of liquor store they were bringing in. And that was at that meeting that I saw, oh, you could run for office here. Cool. And so I thought, I just got to make a side note. I really should do my Enneagram test because I feel like I am a challenger. So I saw that, run for office, run for this board. And I thought, I want to be an elected official. Yes, I will meet this challenge and I will do it. So I was on the Wyndham Park Citizens in Action for about 18 months. And then we moved to Bottineau neighborhood. I had a baby shortly after we moved. So within a couple of years, once he got to be about 2 years old, then I joined the Bottineau Neighborhood Association.
Cool.
And was on their board for several years, helping direct funds. So the city of Minneapolis gives funds to each of these neighborhoods. Where do you put these funds? How do you
Yes.
engage and bring community together?
Yes. And we at the Real Estate Collaborative want to be and try to be as embedded in our community as possible. We obviously know how important it is to show up, to speak up for not only clearly our clients, but the community in which we live. And so I guess way to go, first of all, to all the listeners out there. And I know that most of the listeners are engaged in their community, which is great, and why the Real Estate Collaborative loves partnering with AM 950. Um, for folks who are like, yeah, I'm on my neighborhood committee. I, volunteer at school or church or anywhere. And what is the process now that you're starting it of like, you know what, I think I do want to run for city council. Like what has it taken? Like, you're in it.
I'm in it
So how do
deep,
you even
deep.
begin that?
You find people
Okay.
that have done this before, and
Okay.
that's what happened for me.
Yep.
I've been on several nonprofit boards. So as I mentioned, the neighborhood associations, which are nonprofits, and then a nature preschool. My son went to Minneapolis Nature Preschool, and that the love of nature and that organization pushed me to get involved as a board member.
Yep.
So I got into them as being a board member and continued that because, as I mentioned, service is my love language. And had always thought at one point, as a former teacher, gosh, I'd love to be on the school board. We don't see many former teachers or teachers. I don't know if teachers themselves can be on school boards, but we don't see many former teachers on school boards. And boy, it would be real nice to have a teacher's perspective when
Yep.
you're going to decide what a classroom should look like from year to year.
Yep. Yep.
We moved in 2021 from Minneapolis to Fridley. And because of where we moved in Fridley, I couldn't run for school board because I was technically out of district. So I thought to myself at that point, oh, maybe I'll run for city council. But I was nervous because my current council member at that time, she had been in office for 28 years. And
Wow.
how do I run against somebody that's done this? I don't come from a political family. I don't know political people. I don't know how this works.
Yeah.
Fast forward to this year, 2026, I watched one of the city council meetings, and there was a person that went up and made some statements, said if anybody was interested, reach out, and they did. And that's how this avalanche started, if you will.
You went online to the live stream of your city council meeting, which to anyone, we have done that many times, Paige and I, with we're the leads for Twin Cities YIMBY, yes, in my backyard. So oftentimes, we're either at the city council meetings or tuning in. That's awesome that you were watching and that you followed up.
Megan, I want to be the change I wish to see in the world.
Nice. Good.
And I have been doing this for, I don't know, 12 years now. It was when I first dabbled, with these neighborhood associations. But I want to make change. I don't want to complain about it.
Yep.
I want to be that change.
Yes.
And also, I understand that I am brave, and I also have the privilege of great family and financial support behind me to be able to do these things.
Yep.
And I know that not everybody does, but I don't know if you know this about me, Megan. I love people.
Yeah,
And I love
do.
hearing where they come from, how they got here, what's their story, what do they want to do in their life. I want to know it all. And I just am very easy. It's easy to me to make friends.
Yep.
To get to know people. And if you don't feel comfortable sharing this, I can be your voice for you.
Yep.
I'm not going to say it exactly, but I can at least say it in ways that people that I'm facing could listen and understand.
Yep. Yep. And we both know, whether it's from our prior nonprofit background or, certainly even as real estate agents, as we're looking at zoning laws in certain areas and other regulations, how important it is to have good city council members in your city council. And so, yeah, we're gonna take a little break in a little bit, but that was an awesome introduction to Liz Novotny running for city council in Fridley. When we get back, we'll kind of talk about civic engagement, how listeners can become involved, how the process has gone for you so far. I'm guessing fundraising is not the easiest part, but
Nope.
probably a large part of it. And so, yeah, I think we'll take a little break here. You're listening to Reckoning with Real Estate, and we're joined today by Liz Novotny, real estate agent with Hamm Real Estate Company, and also running for city council in Fridley.
Every swing you take might not end the fray. Crashing through these walls, you take my breath away. Oh, wrecking ball.
Hello again. We are back, and you are listening to Reckoning with Real Estate. I'm Megan Howard with the Real Estate Collaborative. And before we go on too much further, I just want to say you can find us at therecolab.com. That is TheRecollab.com. So that's the Real Estate Collaborative. Is what that stands for. And today we've been talking with Liz Novotny. She is the real estate agent with Hamm Real Estate Company, but we're focusing today on your run for city council in Fridley.
City council.
Whoa, Liz.
Yes.
Okay, so before the break, we were kind of talking about how you got to this point. You love engaging in your community. Your love language is service. This is why I know I love you, obviously. And I can say that, Liz, if there is an event, you will be there. And if you can't, you will try really hard. And if you still can't, then you will still somehow support either the person or the nonprofit or whatever it is. So that's just like a shout out to your character. And I know Paige loves you as well. And we're just so grateful that you even came on this podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, yeah, this is your second podcast. The first episode that we did with you was on short sales and your history with that. I found that to be really fascinating and informative. So if you missed that episode with Liz, you can go online and find that recorded episode. But now that we've kind of met you in the first part of the show, now let's talk about like where things are at and kind of what you're working towards. What is your goal if and hopefully when you become city council?
It's a when, Megan.
Yes,
it's a
that's
when.
right.
Yes, I am boldly confident that
Good.
This is going to work in my favor. Done a lot of research. So what am I doing now? Where am I going next? Well, before I go too far, I did have to sit down and look at the Secretary of State to see how many people voted in the last midterm election, because this is midterm.
Okay.
And that helps me determine about how many votes I'm looking to get.
Wow.
Which is, there's a whole science to it all, Megan.
Yeah.
I've learned so much in such a few short months.
And you're looking at the population of Fridley and then how many people voted
yes.
in a midterm.
Specifically my ward.
Okay,
so yes. I look at how many people voted in my ward to determine how many votes I have to try and round up.
Yes.
Before November 3rd, election day.
Okay.
So what I've done thus far, for some reason, every city is a little different about when your filing period is when it comes to filing. And that was the first thing that happened in May. Really, there were months of work leading up to that, preparing, planning, talking who to help. I've got a team that's helping me with graphics, a team that's helping me with social media, a team that's helping me by direction, like, okay, here are some people to talk to in the community.
Yeah.
I got a team that's helping me with signage. How do I get those signs? Because, the lawn signs are so expensive, Megan.
Yes.
So expensive.
And you fundraise for this.
Fundraise. This is not out of my pocket. I have spent some money out of my pocket.
Yeah.
But I've done fundraising for most of it. as mentioned before, I make friends easily and my friends support me.
Yeah.
Because I support them.
Yep.
That's also what you mentioned. I support
Mhm.
people. I show up.
Yep.
You have an event, you have something. I'll talk to you. I'll either be there, talk to you the day of, day after. How did things go? Not because I'm looking for a favor, but I just know what that means to me when people show up.
Yep.
So I want to give that same feeling back.
Yes. And I can say that you certainly do that. So, like, if there's a listener out there that's thinking, gosh, I've always wondered about running, and you just rattled off like a whole like crew of folks.
Yes.
What if they're like, "Yeah, but I don't have a sign maker and I don't have this and this and this?" I mean, how far in advance from running do you have to you like what do you have to put something down to like start the process? Like what's the bare minimum that someone would need? And then you go and you build up your base.
Connecting in the community.
Okay.
So I connected with people that are heavily involved in city politics.
Yep.
And those are the folks that helped directed me to the people that would help.
Cool.
And so I got plugged into, as I mentioned before, I heard somebody make the call. If you want to run, consult me. I'll
Wow.
help you. And so that's what I did. So the filing date was in May, but March and April were heavy work.
Yeah.
Preparing, planning, because then you got to come up with what are the issues that you're most concerned about, Megan?
Right.
And how do you write about them? How do you talk about them? You have to talk about why you're running, and you have to make sure you have that kind of in your heart so
Yeah.
you can say the same thing over and over and over. I always make a little fun something about it every time I talk about it, just so it's not super repetitive, but
Yeah.
because I'm so passionate about civic engagement, it doesn't feel like a chore.
Okay. And have you received like do they say pick 3 things, pick 5 things? Like what is your list? And I would love to hear
Yes,
it.
so my list. So my list for running for city council is I want to be more engaged and more involved than what I see a current council member doing.
Okay.
I'd like to be present.
Yep.
And how can I help gather community? I know I had talked briefly about with the city of Minneapolis, the different neighborhoods that we have and the community events. I would love to bring that idea to the city of Fridley. How can we make our events a little smaller so it doesn't feel so overwhelming to have to go to a big event where you're going to see hundreds of people?
Yeah.
Maybe internally you're a bit of an introvert, but you still want to be involved,
Yeah.
but you don't want to go and be a part of a big event. Here is a small event that you can participate. So
Cool.
I want to try and see if I can bring this model here to the city of Fridley and or find other ways to make events more accessible to everybody.
Yep.
Not just the ones that are plugged into the community.
Yep.
So that's one of my things. I'm also obviously in support of housing
Yes.
and making sure it's affordable and not just in purchase, but how are the rents? And
Yes.
are the renters being treated fairly? Do they have all their rights that they're supposed to have from the landlords?
Yep.
So housing is a big key. And then economic development is another one. I went through a couple different leadership programs. One that's very near and dear to my heart is Leadership St. Paul. And I was engaged with a group of, I think we had 47 people in our class. And that's a year-long program where you learn a little bit about St. Paul each month. You can take and apply that to your own city, regardless of where you live, because, public safety is in every city. Healthcare is in every city.
Yeah.
Human services are in every city. So take the general idea and plug it into the city that you actually live in. But those relationships I made through that program, I'd love to take, especially in the development piece,
Yep.
because you may not have heard, or maybe you have heard people say taxes are high.
Yeah.
Taxes are high everywhere.
Yep.
Sadly, they are. I don't know that you can really escape it. But what does that look like for a homeowner? All depends on do you have a diverse tax base?
Yep.
You can't have all of that tax burden on the homeowners. You need to have industrial. You need to have commercial. You need to have businesses. So can I take the relationships I met through Leadership St. Paul, bring those into Fridley to fill vacant spaces? Because we have
Yes.
vacancies in our city. How can they be filled? How can we create relationships where maybe we can bring some money to build up a space or renovate a business so that it is more appealing for a new business?
Awesome. Awesome. So, I mean, I'm like, yes, all right, Liz. I'm behind all of those things. So, what do you need from listeners? I mean, yeah.
We need, so, well, obviously any candidate's going to ask for door knockers. Who's going to help door
Mhm.
knocking when you get into the thick of the fall? The way city councils work, and this is throughout the entire state, you can only have 2 people on a ballot in November.
Okay.
So if you have more than 2 people running, you do go through a primary situation. Primary is or was August 11th.
Yeah.
And I'm running against one person, so I don't have to worry about a primary.
Great.
So I'm not doing such heavy door knocking. Because you do get folks that answer the door asking, why are you coming so early? This is a little early, sort of thing. So I have focused heavily on meet and greets.
Yeah.
So I'm going to specific neighborhoods, gathering folks because I'm looking for support.
Yeah.
And the best way to get support is to meet people, talk about what I want to do, hear what their favorite parts are about Fridley, how can we improve it,
Yep.
and that garners support down the line, which in turn is helpful to have for those lawn signs.
Yes.
Having those meet and greets helps get those lawn signs out.
Okay.
But I'm also connecting with specific community members and community, and by specific, I mean just well-known folks in the community.
Yep.
And then of course, Fridley businesses.
Yep.
What do you need as a business owner from the city? Are you getting, what do you love most? What would you love to see more of? So I'm having those meetings now. August will start more heavy door knocking. So that's what a city council, a candidate is looking for, door knockers.
Yep.
Obviously they're looking for funds to
Yep.
help pay for the signs,
Yes.
the letters, the events that you want to try and host. And then the third thing is we're always looking for endorsements. If you
Yes.
do find that you like me and or have a relationship with me, I'd love an endorsement. You don't necessarily have to live in the city of Fridley, because can you speak to my character?
Yep.
And that's most important, is who I am as a person, to know how I'm going to represent my community.
Right. And clearly we're all about, we all do better when we all do better. So
Me
knowing
too.
you, and if you are on the city council in Fridley, I'm in St. Paul.
Mhm.
I know that our community would benefit of having you on the city council there, because it's all connected. We're all connected. We're all working towards the same greater good.
Mhm.
I guess, what has been the most surprising part of, like, it, or is it all kind of like, okay, this is how I thought it would go? Or is there one thing that's like, gosh, I never thought that I'd have to do this?
It's probably most surprising the amount of text messages that I get
Oh,
on
Lordy.
several different group texts, and the team that's assisting me, the text messages that come through. And as you know, in our work in real estate, we do a lot of work through texts.
Yes.
Yes, a lot is email, but sometimes you just need to give a quick answer, or a quick question comes through in a text message. So that's what's been most surprising, is the amount of time I'm actually picking up my phone,
right,
to look at these messages.
Well, because in your life as a real estate agent too, I mean, we need to be there for our clients. We need to give them real-time answers, which I know we try to do at the Real Estate Collaborative, and you do as well. And then you've got this whole team of people that probably need, even like, do you like this color or this color? We're about to go to print.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly it. Sometimes you got to answer those. And we all know the pros and cons of the group text. And if somebody likes your message and doesn't like it or hearts it or something, and that's a notification. It's another message. It's another. So that's what surprised me, is the amount of messages that I'm having to sift through digest, process, and then come up with some sort of response.
Oh my gosh, Liz. Well, okay, we are cheering you on.
Thank you.
Just way to go. Thank you for standing up for what you believe in, showing up, and like trying to make a difference in your community.
Thank you.
And I hope you have great results in November.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we're out of time. So if you missed any of this episode, you would like to listen to this one or the previous episode that Liz did, please visit us at therecolab.com. That is TheRecollab.com. Big thank you to Liz Novotny, real estate agent and city council hopeful in Fridley. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Megan. It really was a pleasure.
Yay. Well, that wraps up today's episode. You're listening to Reckoning with Real Estate, and we'll catch you again next week.
Wrecking balls in flight, bringing down the light. Every swing you take, mine art in the fray. Crashing through these walls, take my breath away.